In the luxurious atmosphere of the restaurant, amid dazzling modern textures, a sarcastic remark from a waiter froze the air. "Someone like you doesn't belong here." The deep sorrow on Sandra Bullock's face echoed throughout the venue, and a silence fell among the delicate, butterfly-like details. At that very moment, unexpectedly, Keanu Reeves's cool-headed intervention changed the scene. The power of justice and inner respect enveloped the entire space. In this story, you'll discover how true human dignity is defended, and how unexpected heroism is born. Hey, are you still not subscribed? I see you're not subscribed, and that makes me sad. Let's spread Keanu Reeves's life stories to millions together. When Keanu Reeves, having shed the city's chaos behind him, stepped through the door of a luxurious restaurant, adorned with modern lines and minimalist yet striking details. The setting unfolded before his eyes like a cinematic screen. Dressed in casually rumpled everyday attire, far removed from ostentatious fashion trends, he projected a simple, sincere style that, in stark contrast to the restaurant's flashy and meticulously curated decor, exuded genuine authenticity. The soft, inviting light from the chandeliers, combined with the contemporary artworks hanging on the walls and the carefully arranged furnishings, transformed the space into more than just a dining area. It became a meeting point that embraced lifestyle and modern aesthetics. In the main hall, Sandra Bullock stood out as a figure embodying the elegance of the past and the grace of success. Her tastefully understated yet stylish outfit, paired with the calm smile on her face, revealed a quiet strength and a wealth of experience with every step she took. The spacious tables, the artfully arranged floral displays, and the intricate decorative elements in the restaurant whispered different stories from every corner, deepening the overall spirit of the place. Right beside her, a waiter's face betrayed a hint of anger and a distant look, a silent harbinger of personal frustrations and repressed emotions. Though his words had not yet been uttered, the moment carried a quiet signal that his behavior was poised to spark a dramatic confrontation. From one of the more secluded corners of the restaurant, Keanu Reeves observed with a cool yet vigilant gaze. Absorbing every detail of the venue as if it were etched into his very being, he envisioned how the message of justice and empathy would be reshaped in this modern setting. His silent presence, in perfect harmony with the overall ambiance, served as a subtle but powerful omen of change amid the sophisticated details. In the sophisticated atmosphere of the restaurant, where the harmony of elegant details and modern art prevailed, a sharp voice suddenly cut through the air, altering the mood entirely. A waiter, exuding his own distinctive arrogance, approached Sandra Bullock. With a cold expression and a biting, mocking tone, he disrupted the carefully arranged order of the chic décor. "Do you really deserve to be here?" he asked, his words resonating like a judgment beneath the restaurant's softly dimmed lights. This sudden insult brought a fleeting look of shock and deep sorrow to Sandra's face. Her poise, refined by years of experience, now bore the weight of a new wound. Within her, memories of past hurts stirred, as if a lament from the depths of her soul echoed with the pain of facing such demeaning words once more. The crowd fell silent, their breaths held, as a subtle anxiety and disappointment spread across every table and seat. Elsewhere in the restaurant, with soft jazz melodies playing in the background and the elegant arrangement momentarily muted by the tension, the stark contrast between warmth and cold began to redefine the very atmosphere. The waiter's derisive remark, rising amid the meticulously prepared menus and detailed decor, cast a heavy pall over both the venue's splendor and the hearts of those present. Sandra, taking a deep breath, absorbed the sting of the arrogance and condescension in his words, as long buried doubts and old scars surfaced within her. This moment of conflict was not merely an external blow, but also marked the resurgence of internal pain and bitterness, a reawakening of past hurts. The restaurant's dazzling setting, for a moment, was upended by those harsh words, leaving deep impressions on the hearts of all who witnessed it. Now, everything seemed poised on a fragile balance, hinting at the uncertainty of what might unfold in the coming minutes. The intensity in the restaurant's main hall and the silence following the sarcastic remarks left a deep impression on Sandra Bullock's face. After this sudden clash, she decided to slowly retreat from the crowd while maintaining her grace. As she ascended the intricately detailed staircase, her measured steps, harmonizing with the bright lights and modern textures of the surroundings, seemed to search for a new hope with every step, as if to ease the bitterness of the past. The cool, dim air of a corridor leading outside merged with the soft tones of contemporary paintings hanging on the walls, and Sandra moved forward quietly. With each step, the gentle breeze that emanated from the fabric of the place seemed to disperse a bit of the pain and sorrow within her. As she distanced herself from the noisy, meticulously decorated main hall, the tension created by the crowd gave way to silent introspection. In that moment, she deeply felt both the peace that comes with solitude and the emotional storm that had been building inside her. Every step reminded her of how fragile respect, honor, and human values can be. At the end of the corridor, beneath softly dimming lights, Sandra reached the door of a quiet area to take a brief pause. This serene space, with its modern, clean-lined walls and minimalist décor, reflected the turmoil within her inner world. The weight of her emotional wounds and past hurts began to ease slightly in the coolness of that moment. Meanwhile, from another corner of the restaurant, Keanu Reeves continued to observe the unfolding scene with calm, measured steps. His presence was like a herald of this quiet transition. Without getting lost in the details of the space, his deep gaze conveyed justice and empathy. It was as if Keanu was trying to catch the first signs of inner strength and the possibility of restoring justice that lay behind this sudden solitude. Thus, after the emotional shock caused by the waiter's insult, Sandra Bullock embarked on a quiet journey away from the center of the crowd, seeking to listen to herself and recover. That moment became an indelible passage in the memories of everyone, a significant transition symbolizing the beginning of inner conflicts and emotional transformation that blended seamlessly with the luxurious, modern fabric of the restaurant. Sandra withdrew to a quiet corner at the end of the corridor. There, under the soft, light blue illumination of the space, she was surrounded by the faded traces of modern artworks adorning the walls. The gentle breeze carried a hint of salty sea air, as if with every breath it refreshed the old wounds of her past. In that tranquil setting, the moment she sat down in a chair, the subtle pallor on her face and the depth of her contemplative gaze spoke volumes about the impact of the verbal assault she had endured. Murmuring to herself, "I've experienced similar moments before. Each time, a wound was opened within me. Perhaps this is an opportunity to rediscover myself." She slowly began to make sense of the pain and resentment residing in her heart. The soft beams of light filtering through partially closed curtains seemed to capture the fragility in her eyes. Each ray recalled traces of old scars, and maybe even hopes that had yet to fully heal. This moment transformed into an inner reckoning, merging with the silence and gentle textures of the surroundings. To Sandra, the insult was not merely an external attack, it also served as a mirror, prompting her to question her own worth. The pride she carried, built upon years of achievements, reminded her of how delicately human dignity is balanced. In the distance, Keanu Reeves's attentive presence stood as a silent witness to her inner turmoil. Without any overt intervention, he communicated with his eyes, as if waiting for Sandra to find peace within herself and overcome this painful moment. Amid the restaurant's modern lines, the carefully curated details in every corner, and the soft background music, a deeper dimension of her inner reckoning was unveiled. This was not just a momentary injustice. It marked the beginning of a process in which she would rediscover her worth and dignity. This quiet quest was not only an emotional healing, but also laid a strong foundation for the steps she would take in the future. The elegant arrangement of the restaurant was shaken by a sudden wave of tension. The cold atmosphere created by the waiter's sarcastic remarks aimed at Sandra Bullock had become unbearable, and the silence that spread throughout the spacious room only intensified the weight of the moment. At that very instant, Keanu Reeves stepped onto the scene like the silent herald of a storm. His slow, measured steps echoed against the sleek lines of the modern decor, while the warm light filtering through the windows cast his determined expression onto a golden backdrop. With his poised demeanor and silent, penetrating gaze, Keanu decided it was time to intervene to quell the rising unrest. From the depths of his inner voice, words emerged. Everyone deserves the respect they're owed. It's our duty to ensure that. His message resonated through the room. As his words were absorbed by the expansive walls and the attentive hearts of those present, a fleeting look of surprise and remorse crossed the waiter's face. In that moment, the meticulously arranged details of the restaurant, the soft background music, and the artfully placed decorative lights took on a new meaning, transformed by Keanu's intervention. The tension that had been building in silence became a counterbalance to his presence, as he began to stand out distinctly among the crowd. His gaze emphasized not only his words, but also the profound human values that permeated every corner of the space. This critical intervention not only filled the void left by the waiter's cutting tone, but also began to heal the emotional wounds of the moment, laying the groundwork for the birth of hope. The subtle smiles and quiet nods from the guests testified to the impact of Keanu's words and actions. Every detail conveyed that this act was more than just a spontaneous reaction. It was a powerful symbol that human dignity and respect can be restored. This brief moment of intervention served as a potent reminder, within the luxurious and modern ambiance of the restaurant, of how invaluable justice and empathy truly are. As Keanu Reeves's determined stance dispersed the shadow of the scandal, it heralded the beginning of a new order in the room. Gradually, the deep fissure created by the waiter's words began to close under the influence of Keanu's intervention, transforming the space into a beacon of inner healing and the reconstruction of fundamental values. The restaurant's central area was awash with moments of peak tension. The coldness generated by the waiter's sarcastic attitude had created a heavy atmosphere throughout the venue. Following Keanu Reeves's intervention, the tension suddenly escalated. The waiter, his face now marked with anger and remorse, attempted to defend his words. His trembling voice echoed among the modern artworks adorning the walls, and in contrast to the luxurious details woven into the fabric of the space, traces of vulnerability and guilt were laid bare. Every word seemed to rise defiantly against the meticulously arranged decor, illuminated by the soft glow seeping from the crystal chandeliers and the minimalist design. As guests exchanged looks of astonishment, some bowing their heads in quiet acknowledgement while others whispered, sharing the weight of the moment, the faint notes of the background music transformed into a silent cry for justice. At that moment, Keanu Reeves's calm yet resolute presence began to disperse the clouds of anger and regret. Everyone deserves respect. His statement resonated like a command that pierced the room's atmosphere. His intervention forced the waiter to confront the cost of his mistakes, with the painful traces of past transgressions becoming evident on his face. What began as an individual misstep had grown into a challenge to the entire environment's longing for justice and respect. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, the restaurant management compelled everyone present to listen intently. The venue's elegant, modern details seemed to remind all that nothing here would ever be the same again. With each passing moment, the consequences of this high-tension incident became more apparent. Both the waiter's shame and the guests' silent approval indicated that a reordering of the space was imminent. In that meticulously crafted ambiance, the moment underscored just how essential it is to defend human dignity and respect, and how every misdeed comes at a steep price. Every detail spoke of the transformations and lessons that would follow in the wake of this heightened tension. After Keanu Reeves's intervention, the atmosphere in the restaurant gradually began to reshape itself. The impact of the incident was felt in every corner of the luxurious venue. The modern touches on the walls, the subtly shifting play of light, and the melodic background music all seemed to herald a more serene and profound understanding. The waiter's previously angry expression gave way, in the wake of the intervention, to a quiet admission filled with shame and remorse, while gentle smiles appeared on the guests' faces, signs of hope that justice could be restored. The intensity in the restaurant's elegant main hall slowly gave way to warm, harmonious conversations and genuine glances. In response to the dramatic events, the restaurant management stepped in to assume responsibility, restoring order. Natural light streaming through the expansive windows added a soft touch to the modern lines of the space, and every detail was carefully reevaluated with the guests' satisfaction as the top priority. This moment of change wasn't confined merely to a physical rearrangement. It also brought the restaurant's spirit and societal values back into focus. The waiter's inner reckoning over the price of his misdeeds created a deep sense of reflection and empathy among both the staff and the guests. The transformation that began with Keanu Reeves's intervention now manifested as a quiet culture of understanding and respect throughout the venue. Sandra Bullock, after enduring her public humiliation, regained her composure and once again showcased her elegance and inner strength. Every detail, from the modern design of the restaurant to the cool caress of the gentle breeze and the soft background melodies, underscored the re-established order and concretely demonstrated the priceless value of respect and justice. Thus, in the aftermath of the scandal, the restaurant not only renewed itself physically, but also emotionally and socially, offering an environment of renewed understanding and inner peace. The restaurant's upper floor had been transformed into an exquisitely reimagined space, dominated by modern lines and warm tones. This area bore the marks of the scandal and the subsequent inner reckonings, as if the traces of these events had been etched onto the surfaces of the contemporary artworks on the walls and the carefully selected furnishings. Once merely a symbol of luxury and ostentation, the venue had now become a sanctuary where human dignity, inner peace, and true respect were being rebuilt. In the aftermath of the incident, the restaurant management held comprehensive meetings, prompting the entire team to question their mistakes, prejudices, and behaviors, thereby laying the foundations for a new culture of respect. That evening, Sandra Bullock managed to set aside the impact of her public humiliation, once again revealing her inner strength and grace. The faint smile that emerged on her face seemed to erase the traces of past pain, replacing them with a hopeful poise. Her eyes now reflected not only a hint of sorrow, but also a determined belief in the future. This transformation marked a significant turning point in both her personal and professional life. Meanwhile, the waiter was forced to confront the consequences of his actions. The expressions of remorse and guilt etched on his face spoke volumes. That moment spurred not only an examination of individual missteps, but also a broader reappraisal of the values held by the entire staff. Keanu Reeves's intervention served as the cornerstone of this complex emotional tableau. His calm and resolute demeanor reflected the vital importance of justice and empathy in every detail. As the striking modern décor and elegant lighting reshaped the space in the wake of his intervention, the ambient sounds, the gentle caress of a soft breeze, and the intricate interplay of light all testified to the emergence of a new order built on respect and tolerance. As the night wore on, every corner of the restaurant was revived by meticulously reconsidered details. The previously tense and bitter atmosphere gave way to understanding, inner balance, and sincere harmony. The expressions on the staff's faces shifted with care and attention, and every step underscored the importance of genuine values beyond mere modern aesthetics. The old grievances, prejudices, and hasty judgments gradually yielded to a profound internal reckoning and rebirth. In conclusion, this dramatic event once again underscored the indispensability of safeguarding human dignity and true respect. Real strength lies not in outward luxury, but in the inner world of the individual, where facing one's mistakes and taking the right steps are what truly matter. Mistakes can be atoned for with sincere effort and heartfelt change. In doing so, the restaurant became not only a showcase of flashy details, but also a symbol of values that spring from the heart and a beacon of inner peace. This transformation, representing both the rebirth of a physical space and a testament to the fragility and preciousness of the human spirit beyond prejudice and bitterness, has left an enduring message in everyone's memory.